welcome back to the read-along of the Player's Handbook, Dungeons & Dragons 5e. We are starting 17B today, which is Monastic Traditions. Monastic Traditions, also on page 79. 3 traditions of monastic pursuit are common in the monasteries scattered across the multiverse. Most monasteries practice one tradition exclusively, but a few honor the 3 traditions and instruct each monk according to his or her aptitude and interest. All 3 traditions rely on the same basic techniques, diverging as the student grows more adept. Thus, a monk need choose a tradition only upon reaching the 3rd level. Way of the Open Hand. Monks of the Way of the Open Hand are the ultimate masters of martial arts combat, whether armed or unarmed. They learn techniques to push and trip their opponents, manipulate chi to heal damage to their bodies, and practice advanced meditation that can protect them from harm. Open Hand Technique. Starting when you choose this tradition at the 3rd level, you can manipulate your enemy's chi when you harness your own. Whenever you hit a creature with one of the attacks granted by your flurry of blows, you can impose one of the following effects on that target. It must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or be knocked prone. It must make a strength saving throw. If it fails, you can push it up to 15 feet away from you. It can't take reactions until the end of your next turn. Wholeness of Body. At the 6th level, you gain the ability to heal yourself. As an action, you can regain hit points equal to 3 times your monk level. You must finish a long rest before you can use this feature again. Tranquility. Beginning at 11th level, you can enter a special meditation that surrounds you with an aura of peace. At the end of a long rest, you gain the effect of a sanctuary spell that lasts until the start of your next long rest. The spell can end as early as normal. The saving DC for the spell equals 8 plus your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus. Quivering Palm. At 17th level, you gain the ability to set up lethal vibration in someone's body. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can spend 3 chi points to start these imperceptible vibrations, which last for a number of days equal to your monk's level. The vibrations are harmless unless you use your action to end them. To do so, you and the target must be on the same plane of existence. When you use this action, the creature must make a Constitution saving throw. If it fails, it is reduced to 0 hit points. If it succeeds, it takes 10d10 necrotic damage. You can have only 1 creature under the effect of this feature at a time. You can choose to end the vibrations harmlessly without using an action. Way of Shadow. Monks of the Way of Shadow follow a tradition that values stealth and subterfuge. These monks might be called ninjas or shadow dancers, and they serve as spies and assassins. Sometimes the member of a ninja monastery are family members, forming a clan sworn to secrecy about the arts and missions. Other monasteries are more like thieves' guilds, hiring out their services to nobles, rich merchants, or anyone else who can pay their fees. Regardless of their methods, the heads of these monasteries expect unquestioning obedience of their students. Shadow Arts. Starting when you choose this tradition at the 3rd level, you can use your chi to duplicate the effects of certain spells. As an action, you can spend 2 chi points to cast Darkness, Dark Vision, Pass Without a Trace, or Silence, without providing material components. Additionally, you gain the Minor Illusion cantrip if you don't already know it. Shadow Step. At 6th level, you gain the ability to step from one shadow into another. When you are in dim light or darkness, as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see that is also in dim light or darkness. You then have advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of the turn. Cloak of Shadows. By 11th level, you have learned to become one with the shadows. When you are in an area of dim light or darkness, you can use your action to become invisible. You remain invisible until you make an attack, cast a spell, or enter in an area of bright light. Opportunist. At 17th level, you can exploit a creature's momentary distraction when it is hit by an attack. Whenever a creature within 5 feet of you is hit by an attack made by a creature other than you, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against that creature. Way of the Four Elements. You follow a monastic tradition that teaches you to harness the elements. When you focus your chi, you can align yourself with the forces of creation and bend the four elements to your will, using them as an extension of your body. Some members of this tradition dedicate themselves to a single element, but others weave the elements together. Many monks of this tradition tattoo their bodies with representations of their chi powers, commonly imagined as coiling dragons, but also as phoenix, fish, plants, mountains, and cresting waves. Disciple of the Elements. When you choose this tradition at the 3rd level, you learn magical disciplines that harness the power of the four elements. A discipline requires you to spend chi points each time you use it. You know the Elemental Aptitude Discipline and one other elemental discipline of your choice, which are detailed in the Elemental Disciplines section below. You learn one additional elemental discipline of your choice at 6th, 11th, and 17th level. Whenever you learn a new elemental discipline, you can also replace one elemental discipline that you already know with a different discipline. Casting elemental spells. Some elemental disciplines allow you to cast spells. See Chapter 10 for the general rules of spellcasting. To cast one of these spells, you use its casting time and other rules, but you do not need to provide material components for it. Once you reach 5th level in this class, you can spend additional chi points to increase the level of an elemental discipline spell that you cast, provided that the spell has been enhanced effect at higher level, as Burning Hands does. The spell's level increases by 1 for each additional chi point you spend. For example, if you are a 5th level monk and use Sweeping Cinder Strike to cast Burning Hands, you can spend 3 chi points to cast it at 2nd level as a 2nd level spell. The discipline's base cost is 2 chi points plus 1. The maximum number of chi points you can spend to cast a spell in this way, including its base chi point cost and any additional chi points you spend to increase its level, is determined by your monk level, as shown in the Spells and Chi Points table. Spells and Chi Points table. Monk's level, 5th through 8th, maximum points to spend, 3. Monk level, 9th through 12th, maximum, 4. 13th through 16th, 5. 17th through 20th, 6. Elemental disciplines. The elemental disciplines are presented in alphabetical order. If a discipline requires a level, you must be that level in this class to learn that discipline. Breath of Winter, 17th level required. You can spend 6 chi points to cast Cone of Cold. Clench of the North Wind, 6th level required. You can spend 3 chi points to cast Hold Person. Elemental Attunement. You can use your action to briefly control elemental forces within 30 feet of you, causing one of the following effects of your choice. Create a harmless, instantaneous sensory effect related to air, earth, fire, or water, such as a shower of sparks, a puff of wind, a spray of light mist, or a gentle rumbling of stone. Instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire. Chill or warm up to 1 pound of non-living material for up to 1 hour. Cause earth, fire, water, or mist that can fit within 1 foot cube to shape itself into crude form you designate for 1 minute. Eternal Mountain Defense. 17th level required. You can spend 5 chi points to cast Stone Skin, targeting yourself. Fangs of the Fire Snake. When you use the attack action on your turn, you can spend 1 chi point to cause Tendril of Flame to stretch out from your fists and feet. Your reach with your unarmed strikes increases by 10 feet for that action, as well as for the rest of your turn. A hit with such an attack deals fire damage instead of bludgeoning damage, and if you spend 1 chi point when the attack hits, it also deals an extra 1d10 fire damage. Fist of the Four Thunders. You can spend 2 chi points to cast Thunderwave. Fist of Unbroken Air. You can create a blast of compressed air that strikes like a mighty fist. As an action, you can spend 2 chi points and choose a creature within 30 feet of you. That creature must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d10 bludgeoning damage, plus an extra 1d10 bludgeoning damage for each chi point you spend, and you can push the creature up to 20 feet away from you and knock it prone. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage, and you don't push it or knock it prone. Flames of the Phoenix. 11th level required. You can spend 4 chi points to cast Fireball. I didn't ask how big the room was, I said I cast Fireball. Gong of the Summit. 6th level required. You can spend 3 chi points to cast Shatter. Mist Stance. 11th level required. You can spend 4 chi points to cast Gaseous Form, targeting yourself. Ride the Wind. 11th level required. You can spend 4 chi points to cast Fly, targeting yourself. River of Hungry Flame. 17th level required. You can spend 5 chi points to cast Wall of Fire. Rush of the Gale Spirits. You can spend 2 chi points to cast Gust of Wind. Shape of the Flowing River. As an action, you can spend 1 chi point to choose an area of ice or water no larger than 30 feet on a side within 120 feet of you. You can change water to ice within that area and vice versa. And you can reshape ice in that area in any manner you choose. You can raise or lower the ice elevation, create or fill in a trench, erect or flatten a wall, or form a pillar. The extent of any such changes can't exceed half the area's largest dimension. For example, if you affect a 30-foot square, you can create a pillar up to 15 feet high, raise or lower the square's elevation by up to 15 feet, dig a trench up to 15 feet deep, and so on. You can't shape the ice into a trap or damage a creature in the area. Sweeping Cinder Strike. You can spend 2 chi points to cast Burning Hands. water whip, because this is Avatar. You can spend 2 chi points as an action to create a whip of water that shoves and pulls a creature to unbalance it. A creature that you can see that is within 30 feet of you must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d10 bludgeoning damage, plus an extra 1d10 bludgeoning damage for each additional chi point you spend. And you can either knock it prone or pull it up to 25 feet closer to you. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage, and you don't pull it or knock it prone. Wave of Rolling Earth. 17th level required. You can spend 6 chi points to cast Wall of Stone. Monastic Orders. The worlds of D&D contain a multitude of monasteries and monastic traditions. In lands with an Asian cultural flavor, such as Shaolong, far to the east of the Forgotten Realms, these monasteries are associated with philosophical traditions and martial arts practice. The Iron Hand School, the 5 Stars School, the Northern Fist School, and the Southern Star School of Shaolong teach different approaches to the physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines of the monk. Some of these monasteries have spread to the western lands of Faerun, particularly in places with large Shu immigrants communities such as Thesk and Westgate. Other monastic traditions are associated with deities who teach the value of physical excellence and mental discipline. In the Forgotten Realms, the Order of the Dark Moon is made up of monks dedicated to Shar, goddess of loss, who maintain secret communities in remote hills, back alleys, and subterranean hideaways. Monasteries of Ilmater, god of endurance, are named after flowers, and their orders carry the names of great heroes of the faith. The disciplines of Saint Scholars, the twice martyred, reside in the monastery of the Yellow Rose near Damara. The monasteries of Eberron combine the study of martial arts with life of scholarship. Most are devoted to the deities of the sovereign host. In the world of Dragonlance, most monks are devoted to Majer, god of meditation and thought. In Greyhawk, many monasteries are dedicated to Zhanye, the goddess of twilight and the superiority of mind over matter, or to Zuken, god of mental and physical mastery. Evil monks of the Scarlet Brotherhood in the world of Greyhawk derive their fanatic zeal, not from devotion to a god, but from dedication to the principles of their nation and their race, the belief that Seul, strand of humanity, are meant to rule the world. And that ends our reading of The Monk. Join me next time for the Paladin. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, comment, or subscribe, and as always, keep playing.